Look at that, Michael.
Denny Lane.
Mikey. How are you this morning, Michael Knight?
I am wondering how the New England Patriots got through the playoffs. They showed themselves to be one team at the end of the season as they eliminated their rivals to get to the Super Bowl. And I don't know who showed up last night, but it wasn't a Super Bowl team. In fact, 12-0 at halftime is insane. And that wasn't even a good indication of how one-sided it was. Remarkable.
Yeah, it was.
I thought what I said before the game started, I told Kristen, I said, everybody's picking the Seahawks. Everybody's picking the Seahawks. What's going to happen to the mindset of the Patriots? They hear this all week long. They get into that state of mind where everybody hates us. We're going to go eat worms. We'll show them. We're gonna bust this thing wide open. We're gonna play like they think we can't. We're gonna take the Seahawks and show them who we are. Show them how we got here. And I couldn't have been more wrong. They didn't show anybody why they were there. Least of all, Vrabel and the coaching staff, who, by the way, I give 10 points off for their play calling. For all the things that they did right during the year, their play calling last night was so uninspired. 60% of their offense resulted in zero gain for that play.
Well, I think, Michael, and I agree with you that they probably came into this with this mentality of we'll show the world, but what the trap that can, and we've seen this before, it's not like we've never ever seen this before, is you can fall into that trap of forgetting about playing the game and just, your mindset becomes we'll show them, and you miss the little things that gets you to a place. The play calling, the things that the basics of what you were doing all year. I would hazard a guess that if we went back and looked at film, remember that kid's film?
Yeah.
And we went back and looked at video of how New England played all year, that you'd see a different team than what you saw on the field at Levi Stadium yesterday. It would be hard for me to think that a team would go 14-3 and get to the Super Bowl and operate like that. The two, you're right, the two don't mesh. And I don't know if it was Derek May whose butt got tight. I don't know if it was solely on the play calling. I would think that when they take this whole thing apart and they try to figure it out, that it would be a combination of both. Is that the coaching staff realized at some point early on in this game that this kid was either didn't have it and was lucky the entire year, or that he just tightened up with the glare of the lights and everything that was going on, and didn't have come down with a case of stage fright.
Well, what I found fascinating was he had no mobility. This is a young kid; he's in his 20s, young player from North Carolina, who's been leading the team all season long, and finds himself in the Super Bowl and can't even step out of the way of the rush. There were times when he was sacked where he just stood there and the rush came to him, surrounded him, swept him down. He never took a step. He never made an evasive move. He never threw the ball away. He never had a a tight end that he could throw to on the sideline. He had no plan to evade the rush that he had to know was coming, and his mobility and his awareness in the pocket were almost non-existent. It was frustrating to watch because he couldn't manage to step away from the danger or recognize it or see it coming or have a play to throw to and get rid of the ball in a hurry. He'd stand back there and just take it.
Well, yeah, where was his tight ends yesterday? I'm talking about New England now. Where were the tight ends? Where were the guys that that you think that that they would have relied on
Yes.
at several points throughout the year? Where were they? I mean, I didn't see a use of them at all. Did you?
No.
I mean,
And
and I
and
know
his accuracy was horrible. He was high, behind, low, off kilter, off target. I don't know how many passes, reasonably good plays that were open, were ruined because he couldn't get the ball there. But there were at least 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean that was yeah, he was either his receivers were out or inaccurate throws or guys that couldn't catch a ball when it was put in their gut.
Right.
It was just a horrible combination of what they tried to accomplish. I don't understand it. And yet, when you think about it, May wound up with a better quarterback rating than Sam Darnold did because Darnold really didn't play that much of a better game.
Well, when Darnold would roll out to evade the pressure, he often found a receiver and got a gain out of it and advanced the ball. And that's something that May couldn't do. And Darnold, with his talent and experience, used the little time he had, because he faced a lot of pressure too, used that little time he had to continue with the offense. He moved the ball. And they had one touchdown call back, as you know. So the game would have been even more one-sided had that score counted. They didn't particularly need it, but their offense was at least in evidence, whereas the poor Patriots, I just don't understand it. They didn't look like they had 2 weeks to prepare. They looked like they had a short week. It wasn't a convincing Super Bowl appearance. I'm thinking when the 49ers beat the Broncos 55-10, you go, how did you guys get to the Super Bowl? How did you get here if you can lose your game 55-10? If that's the Super Bowl competitor, then I don't understand the game. And there aren't that many one-sided efforts, but this one last night was just incredibly one-sided. And the Seahawks kept the Patriots in a constant state of upheaval.
Well,
it would either be the safety coming late or a lineman coming right up the gut or someone coming from the edge that couldn't be blocked. Whoever Seattle sent to cause the problem, that person would penetrate. Very rarely was that person picked up and not effective. The defensive schemes that Seattle put on the field was it's crazy.
Yeah, it really I mean, the only thing that I kept thinking as we got into the second half is that this kid May just wasn't up to the moment. I mean, I don't think it was that he had much, that he had this great ability or he was hurt or this or that or the other thing. It just seemed like a guy who was overmatched. And sometimes a team, when you see a guy that's overmatched, will be able to, his offensive line or his receivers or somebody will be able to cover to help him along. And it just didn't seem like that there was any of that going on the Patriots side at all. Didn't seem like any of his players, his offense was helping him along. Was pushing. I mean, we came. I don't know if it was as close to ever seeing a shutout as we've seen in a Super Bowl, but it was pretty damn close.
Yeah.
I really think that the Seahawks, maybe in the last half of the fourth quarter, lost a little bit of their focus and what was going on, and I think they had to be reminded that, hey, you know what? There's 7 minutes left in this game, kids. Let's not, let's play it to the last minute.
Right.
Because I really, felt that the Seahawks had kind of lost a little bit of that going down the stretch. So, but it was it was nice to see that Kenneth Walker was named the MVP. I think he deserved that. I mean, I think you had Darnold, and I had JSN as the MVPs.
That didn't happen.
And that didn't happen. It was, again, it was. I mean, you could have named the entire Seattle defense as the MVP of this game. They showed them things that I hadn't seen all year. They showed them looks. They disguised things. They came at this team with everything they got, and you never felt like they were, and the Seahawks I'm talking about, were out of gas. We're out of, we're struggle at any point. Did you see anybody on the Seattle team on the defense struggling at any time?
The fascinating part about the show on the field is that the Patriots tried the running game, their running game, couldn't sustain it, tried the passing game, and tried to give him time to prepare for a play. And they weren't successful at any of it. It was remarkable that the Seahawks took everything away from them and played with an intensity that spurred the Patriots to play similarly on their defense, giving Darnold a hard time, but they couldn't sustain that. And the defense that the Seattle team played is supposed to give openings to the receivers if they send an extra man, if they have to play man-to-man for crossing routes, for deep routes, for out routes. And the Patriots could never take advantage of that. They had the man-to-man. They just didn't have the time. They couldn't get the ball to their receivers. They couldn't get the ball out to a running back coming out of the backfield. They never threw to the tight end. It was absolutely, it must have been a nightmare for the offensive coordinator because everything he tried came up mud. And the Seahawks with that defense should have left certain parts of that field vulnerable to throwing down the field. And the Patriots could never take advantage of it, never connect, never throw to their receivers that were playing man-to-man. They were being played man-to-man. So pretty hard to know what the hell they were doing for 2 weeks.
And we talked a bit about this Friday. Is I don't know that you get I don't know. Do you get 2 or 3 good practices in those 2 weeks between the championship game and the Super Bowl? I mean, I was kind of the mind that if you get 2 good practices in, you get a couple of opportunities to throw a wrinkle in there that the other team might not see on tape that you're lucky. We saw that little reverse in the early part of the game with Seattle, but then I think they realized that they didn't need any fancy tricks. That they could just play straight up, big bad defense and beat the Patriots.
Walker and the tight end for Seattle, Bronner, Prater,
Yeah,
whatever his name
boys, Bonner, yeah, AJ Bonner, is
were
just
consistent targets,
yeah,
consistently there.
guys that if I had said to you before the championship game that these guys were going to be the guys in the Super Bowl, you'd have said, "What are you crazy?" But through the circumstance of injury and a coach and an offensive coordinator that decided that he could do things a certain way and use people that maybe didn't get used as much during the season, because that's, to me, that's always the beauty of it is that you always come up with that player that you didn't think about it before the game. But the coaches know where he is. They know that they've been keeping him under wraps. That he has a secret weapon. He's got something that they haven't maybe shown everybody all year, but they know it's there. And when the
Well,
time is right, they'll pull it out and they'll use it.
he
And
didn't
that's what.
expect Kenneth Walker to show up like he did. They just didn't. They weren't prepared for it. They couldn't catch him. They couldn't tackle him. It was fascinating that the guy broke 10, 15-yard gains on a regular basis, and no matter where he took off from, the Patriots couldn't handle him. They couldn't put a stop to him. They couldn't stop him from running. His
Yeah,
success rate, 135 yards on the ground, plus his 40 or 50-yard touchdown called back. He had a hell of a night, successful,
yeah, yeah. No,
and was so hard to tackle, so hard. He was just come barreling through the defense.
what was it that our illustrious late head coach of the Huskies called Napoleon Kaufman a fart in a skillet, right? Which I've always thought that was one of the great lines in football history. But that's what he was, man. He just you just again, I don't know where Chris Collinsworth got that the New England Patriots had momentum or had found some momentum in that game. I didn't get really worried about it at all. Even though I don't know, what was the closest they drew the game to at some point?
Well, they got
12? Yeah, I think something like that.
13 points.
Yeah, I just don't, I just never felt like the Seahawks they just looked like they could stop anything that New England threw at them. They just looked like even when New England got those plays in a row, what was it, the third quarter or no, it was the fourth quarter, I guess, where they kind of started to get moving a little bit. It just didn't feel like they could sustain it.
They didn't have the ability to rely on any one element of the game to advance their offense. They could not rely on anything, and they couldn't rely on May.
Well, yeah, he was the least reliable guy on the team. But I'm not gonna jump on him because because I didn't think that Sam Darnold, for all the jumping up and down and everything, I didn't know that he had a great game either. Not even a good. I mean, I thought he played well enough to put them in position to kick field goals, and played well enough to put them in a position to throw some offensive points up on the scoreboard. But if I was looking at that, there's no way that he was even close to the MVP or in that range. Now and again, that's all the Seahawks really needed, right?
Well, you have to play the game that you get,
Yeah.
and he did not have the time to throw long passes to penetrate the passing game. He didn't have a lot of time to set up the running game to give him a passing game. The running game that the Seahawks put together was sufficient to itself and became a weapon that they used over and over again with Kenneth Williams III. It was pounding strong football, and there wasn't a lot of room for the quarterback because there was no time. The edge goes to Darnold for what I call talent and experience, his ability to hit the short passes, to find his targets after rolling out, which is something that May couldn't do. He could not roll away from the attack, and I just find that so curious. I don't understand it. Well, what was
Yeah,
your favorite commercial?
he played his great. He played a great game, and he will. Darnold did. No. Excuse me. The Seahawks played a great game. I mean, I think that this was about as a team effort
Mm-hmm.
as you would be able to post up if you wanted to take a Seahawk a game out and say this is how a team plays football. This is how different guys contribute toward a goal. I think this would be a heck of a game that you could point to and say all facets of the game worked to some degree for the Seahawks yesterday, and it resulted in a win. No, not overwhelming, not overpowering, but it was maybe, I don't want to say the most important win in franchise history, but if they can in the offseason now, if John Schneider and his group can go out and find a few things to accelerate, to improve on some of those parts that they found, that they had trouble with. This is a team that probably has a few, deep postseason runs, if not championships, in their belt. It's not impossible for me to see them coming back next year and the year after and being, they're certainly going to be in the conversation for the next few years, I think.
Ball's in their corner. Play on.
Yeah. So that was the game. Congratulations to the world champion Seattle Seahawks. I haven't seen the day of the parade yet. I was looking at it actually just before we came on. I don't know. Logical day would say Wednesday, but this is Seattle.
Where do they do the parade?
Downtown. They'll go
Pioneer Square.
I wasn't here for the last parade. I wasn't here for 2014. Was it? I was in Pittsburgh, so I didn't see where. I mean, I know they went down, I think, Fifth Avenue, and they gathered at that plaza that's down there where the carousel is usually set up in the Christmas season. That seems to be the most logical place that they would do it. I would maybe think that they would do it either there or they would do it at in the parking lot by Lumen Field. And there's a pretty vast parking area and lots of space, lots of room down there, so they could do it down there. There's also, since you have been here, they opened up this year a stunning park at the waterfront. just just a park that goes from the waterfront where Ivar's and that whole um, group of stores and that pier and everything were, and the Ferris wheel is that kind of goes up the side of the grade and goes all the way up to Pike Place Market. And there is plenty of space where you could look on several levels at what's going on below you. So if you set up a stage down there and had people come into that area, that looks like it might be a logical place to do a parade and a rally, a deal like they do for these games. So it wouldn't surprise me if that were the place that they held it as well, because it's a place where you can gather a bunch of people. There's good visibility. It's easily accessible to public transit, which is what you're going to want to use to get in and out, to the ferries, to the water taxi, and all of the different modes of transportation. It's a, I don't know, 3 or 4 block walk from light rail. So I think that, to me, that seems kind of like the place that you would want to have it if I were running the city. But as we all know, I don't run the city. So it'll be I think it'll be a great parade. I don't think we're going to have to worry about people shooting each other. I mean, there's certainly a feeling around the city. It was last night of love, and it was much more the Bad Bunny message than it was the Kid Rock message. It was much more a feeling of we're having a good time here. Come and join us and welcome and come in. Not this this stuff that the Kid Rock crew tried to show off, which was just not, it was just this message of divisiveness and racism and just
I didn't hear one word about their show.
I did not see the show. I've just seen clips of it, and I've seen people that I trust, that I know about the music business and know about what they were doing, and not one person had much good to say about it. Where everybody I've spoken to about the Bad Bunny show, including myself, who actually saw it, just it was a feeling of entertainment. No political statement. There was no political statement in his show, Bad Bunny's show.
Well, there was no a very definite pro Puerto Ricans content.
Well, yeah, it was it was
in terms of statehood, and Americans should welcome the Puerto Ricans, and Puerto Rico should be part of the nation, not just a territory in the Caribbean.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good point. Is that that Puerto Rico is a place that is as much of a part of America as anywhere else. Just because the language that is spoken there is a different language, and I don't know. There's some people that, if you listen to them, their English sounds pretty crappy too. In Nebraska,
one thing that I noticed, and it's critical, but it's not meant to be off-putting. Bad Bunny is not a singer. He talks his material.
He's a rapper.
And in the few areas where he tried to sing, he proved that he's not a singer. So the guy can't sing. His delivery is spoken word. And that will always have limited appeal. The idea that there's not a song in his songs, you just have to get used to it, because he's not going to sing his way out of any of the situations that he got himself into. And he had lots of help. He had a cast of hundreds to put that show on.
Yeah.
But songs was not what it was about. It was about topics that he discussed in rhyme.
Well, yeah, but I think that you could say that about a lot of hip hop, a lot of Latin artists. I think there's, I think that that's not a I don't know. To me, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I'm not expecting him to go up there and phrase like Sinatra or put words. I expect him to go up there and excite the crowd. I almost said incite the crowd. Excite the crowd. Uh, get people to understand the land that he's from, the place that he's from, even though it is America. It's quite a different part of America than most people in this country are used to. And so if he sings off key, um, or his singing isn't perfect or on pitch or whatever, um, he's still selling a ton of records, and I still think it was a great choice for the time, for the show, for the ability to put in front of a bunch of people who would never listen to that kind of music, that kind of music. You know, he's no Tito Puente. He's nobody's saying he's Hector Lavoe or Celia Cruz or any of that. He's just a guy with a message, and he puts it musically. And it's interesting because I think I told you last week we have this. I'm driving this car this week that has a karaoke machine in it. Believe it or not.
I believe it.
And Bad Bunny's music is in the karaoke machine. And it's some of the easiest stuff to sing. And because you're not so much singing as you are transmitting a message. There's just a whole lot of peace and love and happiness and dancing that now Michael, the crowd here in Washington, it's a pretty white crowd, right? I mean, if you could probably make a pretty good case that this is Kid Rock territory.
You would think so.
That there's a lot of country music fans. There's a lot of I don't know what I mean. Do you consider Kid Rock hard rock? I guess I don't know. It jumps all over the place. It annoys me.
I'd have to hear his new stuff, but I would have thought active rock.
Yeah, but it's definitely white boy rock. It's beer chugging, get out the shotguns and knock their cans off the and the crowd that follows him, I think portrays that. And I took this. Let me see if I got I hope I have the right one here. But take a look at this for a second, and I think I got the right one. It's in here before but I mean, this is the white crowd, and they're up and they're moving and they're digging it. Yeah, maybe I got the wrong. Maybe I threw the wrong. There's another clip that I have that people are really moving to it. They're up and they're grooving and they're, that there was just this everybody was enjoying themselves listening to it.
Best energy I saw, in musically speaking, was the appearance by Green Day before the kickoff. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I didn't see that. I missed that. I was
They were hot. They were very, very good.
And they should be. They're a good band.
Yeah.
The boys from Alameda.
East Bay Boys.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that, again, I'll go back to the message that we said before. Kid Rock's whole deal is become a I don't want to call it a white supremacist kind of message. I'm not going to go there with it, but
accusational rock.
Yeah, exactly. Very good term for it. It's a divisive message. It divides us from them, and that's not what the music is supposed to be, as far as I remember it. It's not supposed to be us against them. It's supposed to be listen to this and enjoy yourself and find each other through music. And none of that's present in what Kid Rock does and his minions. And it's all over the place, all stamped over Big Bunny. Lady Gaga. You had what was the actor that we've seen him on Saturday Night Live a bunch of times. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he's this Hispanic actor and really well known and he was there and there was just a ton of people that were there that I don't know, just seemed to be about this instead of that, which translates to the politics of it all. In their fine style. Listen, the best thing that happened yesterday is that Slapdick decided not to go.
That was wise.
That could be the wisest decision that he's made in the last year. Is that just don't show up there. Let people have their game, enjoy it. Don't be a part of it, sticking your face in there. Nobody wants to see your Fatchugats there, which literally translated as dick face. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody wants you there. Or no, I'm not going to say nobody. Most people don't want you there. Most people wanted to enjoy the game and enjoy the entertainment. They didn't want to turn it into a God Bless America rally. They do enough of that during the national anthem and all of that other stuff. So
how do I want to say this? At the same time that the football game was on and the controversy about Bad Bunny and Kid Rock and all that was pretty low key. It wasn't a major factor. The Olympic athletes had made comments about how they felt with their reception in Italy, how they felt that the attitudes toward the United States had changed because of Donald Trump. And people were more judgmental of American athletes and cheering for Canada as opposed to the United States, and putting them in a position where, when asked about it, they said, this is unfortunate. We thought that we would be USA, like always, but this year it's different. And it's Trump's fault that we're being received internationally the way we are, as opposed to the way we used to be received. And he gave them hell for that. He told them that they shouldn't have been on the Olympic team if that's how they felt. And that attitude was not welcome. You had to toe the line. They knew better what they should have said instead of what they did say. And the athletes that represent the United States should endorse Trump and all his dark works. And it was fascinating that those two experiences, those two sporting events, held 6,000 miles apart had a similar reaction if you discuss the politics behind it. And it was not good for football, not good for the Olympics, not good for the USA.
Well, it's good when he steers it toward the way he wants the narrative to go.
That's good.
He wasn't saying that when he was, encouraging, Kid Rock and whatever the name of that group is. I don't even want to dignify them by giving out their name and that whole thing. When he was doing that, it was a great idea. Stand up for America and cheer America on. But the minute somebody says something against him, or lets a feeling be known that more and more Americans are feeling. It's not like it's a radical group of it's not the guys from Mexico City in '68 with the Black Power salute. I mean, this is 67, 68% of the nation feels that this guy is done harm to our country, if not irreparable harm to our country. So while you can take that tack with these athletes, I admire them for standing up for themselves and standing up for what many in their country believe, that this guy is it's a clown show, and they're suffering as a result of his actions. And I don't know. And I think these athletes, these Olympic athletes, have a right to be upset, because I have to think that their potential for endorsements, their potential for, to bank to cash in on their
notoriety.
The cash in on their names, to be spokespeople for outside of the MAGA world, is going to be irreparably harmed by the shenanigans of this administration.
Did you find any commercials that intrigued you? Super Bowl spots?
Yeah. What was the one? There was. I thought that the Alexa one.
The new Alexa
was good. That Amazon Alexa one. I like the George Clooney with Grubhub. I'll watch Emma Stone do anything. She could just do anything she wants, and I'll watch the commercial. So Squarespace certainly grabbed my attention. I don't know if I completely understood what was going on.
Well, that's what one critic said today on CNBC. There was a couple of these spots. I just had no idea what the point was, what was going on, what the product was, what they were selling. And I think almost 30% of the spots were AI's products and companies trying to establish something in the rollout of the AI products that are available. And the company called Claude, CLAUDE.
Yeah.
I don't know what they sell or what they do, but they had two spots that were fun.
Yeah, I thought that I really the one of the commercials that really stuck in my head, believe it or not, was the Serena Williams spot,
because she lost so much weight.
Well, yeah. I mean, it just shows. It just showed. Maybe I'll catch some crap for objectifying her or something, but it really showed what a beautiful woman she is. I'll even go past beautiful woman and just what a beautiful body she has. Even though she's muscular and really there's she carries a certain beauty about her that's it's not that model movie star kind of beauty. Um, it's I don't know if it's the beauty of somebody who takes care of themselves. I don't know if it's the beauty of somebody who is so well spoken uh, uh, through through all of the stuff that she's contended with in her life. Like, and again, I'm not saying she had a soft life or anything like that, but different things that have happened with her throughout her time. And yet there was a glow about her, and I don't think that's the medicine that does it. It just to me, it just made me stop and look at her for a second. I mean, I don't know that I ever really stopped and looked at a Serena Williams ad before. Maybe there was another, but I backed up a little bit on that ad. As a matter of fact, I went back and looked at it again because I was interested in what drew me to that so much.
Did you enjoy the Clydesdales with the eagle, the big horse raising the baby eagle?
I
you
thought
don't know
it
it's
was
an eagle till the end.
Pegasus.
Well,
I thought the part where the
there,
horse came out and had the wings.
the wings belong to his buddy, the little bird that he raised.
Yeah. I mean, you see that, but when I first looked at it, yeah, and that commercial, by the way, was for Roe, the Serena Williams commercial. Yeah, she just has she has a presence, Serena Williams. I thought the Cadillac ad was really good. I mean, I wouldn't say it was one of my favorites, but I liked the evocation of John F. Kennedy and the idea that that they're entering into a part of technology that they're not always so highly regarded in, and they stepped out of the luxury box and into the technology box. People wouldn't realize that Cadillac is the fourth best-selling luxury car in America.
It's number one.
I think it's fourth. But their technology is on a par with any of the German cars, any of the Japanese cars. They've really done a spectacular job with that brand of, turning it into a luxury. Not that it's always been a luxury brand, but it hasn't been a luxury brand that people jumped on top of and bought. And now people are starting to realize what they've done. I like I really, you spoke about singing before, and I just thought that the Lady Gaga singing the Mr. Rogers theme was a stroke of genius. She brings something to it that was it just touched my heart. So, I thought that was good too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really kind of.
Well, the Bay Area looked spectacular, looked magical. Everything about the setting for the game was sunny and beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. Well, listen, it's it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching the game with Aaron, and they showed a shot of the Bay Bridge, and we just kind of looked at each other. We didn't even really have to say anything, but we just kind of looked at each other, and I just put my arm around her, and like it's because that's home, I mean,
right.
It's like when I see pictures of New York, I get that little bit of wimpiness, that feeling in it. And for her and I, that's where she was born. That's where she was raised. Even though she's lived up here for more than 10 years, and I'm back here 6 years already, and lived here a number of years. She that's her home. To see it portrayed. I thought that NBC did a great job of showing the Bay Area off.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny too when New England seemed to catch that little bit of push in the second half, that they switched the bumper music from Huey Lewis in the News and Journey over to Boston.
Give him a little boost.
Yeah. Oh, I thought the Liquid Death commercial was interesting too.
Yeah, that was because it was so sunny and colorful and everything, and they're talking about Liquid Death as if it's a vitamin drink.
Yeah, it was really good. It was Chris Hemsworth. It was funny too, to show you how all of this stuff works. I use Alexa as my alarm clock. And I don't set it just. I every night, tell it to wake me up at whatever time I want to get woken up at, and usually I set 2 or 3 alarms. And so last night when I was going to sleep, I said to Alexa, I say, "Great job on that commercial today." And Alexa answered me back and said, "Oh, did you like it?" Didn't Chris Hemsworth do a great job? And she kind of started a conversation with me about the commercial. And I was like,
wow.
Yeah, okay.
Well, that at least shows some use to AI, whereas a lot of the products that were introduced last night, or the companies that were spending their $8 million for a minute, decided not to talk about the product. They made an impression with you. They spent the money to introduce themselves. But they didn't say what their product was, or how it would be used, or what it looked like, or how it would be used. What did it sound like when you interact with it? And there's something to be said for the mystery that you can create that way, but there's also something to be said for the opportunity lost to define what the product is.
Yeah, very good point, Michael. Very, very, very good point. It's just there was I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that really I didn't like the betting companies ads. I don't think there should be betting ads in the Super Bowl, but that's just me. The Uber Eats thing was with Bradley Cooper and Matthew McConaughey, I should say, was okay. I mean,
they have this conflicting relationship that they play out in their commercials, but this one wasn't funny, and those guys are natural. It should be funny, it should be amusing,
Yeah.
It should be entertaining, and it was just their disagreement, but there was no clean resolve or lesson learned or no motto at the end that made it work.
Yeah, they're kind of the modern day Bud Light. No, not Bud Light, Miller Light.
But
they're kind of the modern day
Light.
Billy Martin and what was it? Billy Martin and John Madden. They're kind of that thing. And you're right, they didn't play on it. Or at least I didn't think they played on it. I just didn't think it was a bumper crop of commercials. I didn't think there was, and maybe, I think part of it really is that you see the commercials before the Super Bowl. I think part of the mystique to the Super Bowl commercials, the allure to them, was that you don't get to see them until the Super Bowl. Nowadays, they're up on YouTube a week before the Super Bowl.
I did not run through them before the game.
Yeah, I just I saw them, a few of them, before uh, before the game, and yeah, I just think it takes away. I always like that allure, that mystery of, okay, what is it? You don't want to miss it, And at the party I was at, they purposely leave the volume up on the commercials
Sure, you have
so
to.
that you could listen to them. So
There's one thing that I wanted to mention that struck me as unexpected before the game. That is, NBC had Kyle Shanahan and Fred Warner from the 49ers setting up the game, making commentary, and both of them were excellent. Warner, the clear favorite, and they appeared prepared, smart, clever, well spoken, no hems and haws. They delivered their piece with force and timing. And as you know, a lot of coaches after the game, that's all you know about them. Their post-game comments. And Shanahan is not a gabby guy following a game, win or lose.
yeah,
But this time he was giving of himself and of his knowledge and of his way to read the matchups. And Fred Warner talking about what it's like to play the Seahawks, what it's like to play the Patriots, going up against certain players in certain situations, and what it's like for the individual. And it was good insight and much better than we usually get from the pregame stuff, where content sometimes can be at a minimum. But NBC did some long pieces that were edited together of like a whole section of the season, and well done, well cut, well voiced. And it was, I was surprised that Fred was such a media darling, and that Kyle Shanahan was great on the air as well. And that's what happens when you don't make the playoffs. You get to
yeah.
talk. Maybe you get to be a guest, make a little money from the network.
Well, overall, I thought that I like Mike Tirico. I think he does, and I'm just talking about the whole NBC broadcast as a whole. I thought they did a great job with that. I thought they had great camera angles. I thought Collinsworth may have had his best game that I've heard in a long time. I thought he was, save for that, New England's got the momentum back now. Look out, I mean, I don't know. It was plain to me that they didn't have anything. There was not one moment in that game
That
where
pretty
I
much
was
sums
going,
it up.
oh,
They didn't have anything. I don't know how they could prepare for any team and come out looking as lackluster as they did. I can't get past that, and I know they're probably suffering for it today at home, where the locals in Boston are not having any of that. The only way to make yourself feel better after losing a game like that is to savage your own team, find someone to blame, find someone to
yeah.
put the non-compliance on. It was
Yeah, Boston
embarrassing.
is a town that will not give their teams a lot of mercy.
No,
Oh crap, we had a great year. We just, they were just better than us. Nobody in Boston
gonna buy
will
that.
pick up a phone and call a radio station and say the Seahawks were just better than us. It's not in them to do it.
Dominated every aspect of the game, including the special teams where their Seahawks punts were deadly
Yeah,
over and over again.
yeah. I mean, they stood at the 1 yard line, more than the priest who was dealing out the holy water before that Steelers game.
And he was good. That priest had a good first step.
I mean, they really did. Yeah. It's got to be tough to be. Well, I guess it's great to be a talk show host in Boston this morning. I guess that that your job is today is basically just push the button and let him go. Let him which I agree with. I mean, people want to vent, people want to say what's on their mind. It's got to be. I mean, I don't know that a lot of people in Boston saw this coming.
I don't think anybody saw the gravity of it, the extensive domination. It was just to be thought about, but to be expected in the Super Bowl. I don't know. It was
Vrabel, least of all. I think Mike Vrabel was the last guy that saw it coming. To be honest with you, he just looked by the fourth quarter. He just looked like a guy that wanted to catch the first bus out of town.
Yeah. And I'll drive it myself let's go.
Yeah, he just didn't. He didn't. He, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't know what his speech was like after. It couldn't have been we went out there and gave it our best today, because that would just be complete and utter bullshit. Because I don't believe that team.
It was many things, but not the best of anything.
Yeah, there was no best of in that in that game for New England. So it was Robert Kraft did not look like a happy camper, did he?
He'll get over it.
They showed him. They cut to him at one point. And they stayed on him for a couple of minutes or a couple of seconds, and I could almost hear the producer screaming into the mic, "Get off of him!" Into the IFB, "Get off of him!" Don't
it's a downer. He's bringing me down.
We'll have somebody from the league office calling here in 10 seconds, ripping me a new one, because he just looked like. I mean, he looked like he wasn't excited about the fact that he didn't get elected to the Hall of Fame. Right? He did not get elected to the Hall of Fame.
He did not.
And his buddy Belichick didn't get elected. Which I mean, I'm not a Bill Belichick fan, but what will make him better next year than this year?
The guys who did the voting will feel differently next year. They will have made their point. They will have used their power. They would have misused their influence, and will reconsider at a later date whether these guys get to be in the Hall of Fame or not. You know what sports writers can be like when they get petty.
Yeah. I that's and that's why sometimes I wonder if the if the power to do that should be in the hands of the sports writers, because I can imagine that just a whole bunch of people at Bill Belichick pissed off in his career and decided, well, there's only one way. I can't get even with you because you hold all the cards now, you hold all the money now, but wait till Hall of Fame voting comes around. And we'll show you who's boss. And not that I don't know if it means anything to him or not to get elected in the first round or not. I don't know if that's a hurtful thing for some of these guys. I imagine it is probably for some people.
Well, it's just the reputation now. It's not going to affect their careers probably in any demonstrable way, unless it becomes a cause celeb to keep him out, not to vote him in ever, to insist that he not be a part of it. That's pretty cruel.
Yeah, I just think it's just cheap little. And again, I'm not a Bill Belichick fan, and I think that it was clear that him and Tom Brady, played some shenanigans in the middle, the middle tens there with what they were doing. But I'm also sure that they're not the only ones, not the first ones, and not the last. That will.
One thing we didn't mention is the Seahawks coach, Mike McDonald. He had a great season, great prep, great relationship with his team, great motivator, great manager of the game, and it's not easy to have all those things go for you when you're a new coach.
No, no, not at all. And he mastered it. He hit some bumps in his first season, but again, and to go back and think that this guy started as an intern in the Ravens offices. I remember seeing him in the press box at what are they calling it this week? Acrisure Stadium. I mean, there's a guy who probably, did everything that you could do in a coaching staff on a team and worked his way up and worked his way through it. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to, his family. I always like to include the coach's family because I know how much these people sacrifice. The coaches, not so much because they're doing what they love. And they're, but you know it, I know it. We've both been in jobs. We're in jobs that you lose family moments. When you do a job, coaching or media or all different sorts of things. So I just like to acknowledge the families too, is that the people give up a lot to do this. And in his case, it seems that it obviously has paid off for him. Hopefully he'll be the coach of the Seahawks for a long, long time. And, this isn't a franchise that just goes and willy-nilly pulls out the rug from under coaches, and people don't leave this franchise for any reason.
I guess we have to give that stability credit to Schneider and to Paul Allen's sister, who signs the checks.
Yeah, they've adopted. It seems that they've adopted the Rooney way of doing things, which is ride your coach.
Right.
You hired him, ride him. He's going to have good years and he's going to have bad years. He's going to do things you like and things you don't like. But at the end of the day, the number one thing that a coach needs, besides skill, obviously, is the confidence of the ownership.
Stability.
It says a lot. The Steelers have proven that over the years.
Yes.
That stability brings a thing that makes players want to play there, makes coaches want to coach there, makes people that are fans of the team want to continue to be fans of the team, and which lends itself to becoming not just a part of being a fan of a franchise, but feeling like you're a part of the franchise. When you have that coach every year, when you don't do things like the Jets do them or so many other teams, I think it has results.
And now you have to start planning about your free agents, signings, drafting, who stays, who goes, who gets paid, who gets cut.
Yeah.
The team's never the same 2 years in a row. And the changes that the fans, that the 12 will face next year are already afoot.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to, and I don't mean to say this the day after the victory, but you are going to have to think about Sam Darnold. At the very least, will there be a quarterback in the draft that you can draft and get ready to go a year or two down the road? I'm not saying that you have to, get rid of Sam Darnold this year or anything like that. But I think that you'd certainly do well for yourself to start thinking about that. Because I don't know how old is Darnold? 31.
31, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's gets to that age, right? And again, he's not an elite quarterback. He's done something it has elite status to it. But I don't know that he's an elite quarterback.
I got somebody at the door, Ben. I'm going to have to go.
Okay, Mikey, listen, good talking to you. See you on Wednesday if the Lord's will and the creek don't rise, pal. Take care of yourself.
See you, buddy. Love you.
All right, take care of yourself. There goes Michael Knight. I will just quickly, I just want to dip into the comments section this morning, and let's see, do we have anything here that's interesting? No, not really. Nothing it's worth repeating on the air. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to the Seattle Seahawks for a spectacular season. I was especially happy to see my friends down in Santa Clara enjoying a great game. If you were a Seahawk fan, it was a game that you won't forget if you're a Seahawk fan. The franchise second Seahawk victory, second Super Bowl victory. And maybe for some people, a victory that took a little bit of the sting out of the last appearance in the Super Bowl when they lost to the New England Patriots on just such a head-scratching moment. It was a head-scratching moment in franchise history. I already hear people with the start of a dynasty and this and that and the other thing, and I'm not going to go there. All I'm going to say is this team has potential to be a very good team for a number of years. They have a smart young coach. They have a stability at the head of the franchise. They have smart assistant coaches. And they have a fan group who have gone from, we're going to the Kingdom because it's warm in there, to an expectation that this team is going to be good every year, which is one thing that I've talked about from time to time, is that, great teams, fans of great teams, have the expectation, and this is something that I really saw in Pittsburgh when I got there, have the expectation that this team is going to be a contender for the Super Bowl every year. The goal is not to get to the playoffs. The goal is to win the Super Bowl. That is the goal of the franchise, to win the Super Bowl. And this Seahawk team, I think, is, if they set that as their goal every year, it's based in reality. It should be something that should be on every fan's mind. All right, we'll join you on Wednesday morning at 10:10. And continue to enjoy. Enjoy. It was a beautiful Sunday, folks. Just an absolute beautiful Sunday that I don't think many of us will forget it anytime soon. As I said, thank you very much for listening. And we will see you on Wednesday morning at 10:10, if the Lord's willing and the creek don't rise. Congratulations to the world champion 2026, 25-26 Seattle Seahawks. Ain't it a beautiful thing? See you, folks. Bye-bye now.